That was Sunday, and I was down in my room taking a nap at 3 o'clock when one of my radio men came and banged on the door and said, "Mr. Gross, wake up, they bombed Pearl Harbor." I said, "Oh, go away, don't give me that crap." He said, it's true. I said, "All right, come on in." He came in and gave me the dispatch, and I woke up fast. I knew that we had to get the hell out of Bermuda Harbor as quickly as possible. Churchill requested from Roosevelt permission to use the Wasp to resupply aircraft to the island of Malta. We were able to get about 80 Spitfires on, and their mechanics and their pilots. Understand, this is a first, and when you do a job the first time, you've got surprise. Surprise is a great weapon. The Germans never found us, never spotted us, nothing. Incidentally, we got them all off, every single one. When we got back to Greenock, we found out that he had asked for us to be used for a second operation. Now there's no more surprise. So, but we did it again. We took, again, about 80 Spitfires. They got there, landed, got refueled, and were back in the air when the Germans arrived. For the next 4 days, those Spitfires shot down 270 German Messerschmitts and Stukas. We got a dispatch, it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, in code. I decoded it. And I said to myself, I got to show this to the captain. I hate to go wake that son of a bitch up, but I did. I went up there and I knocked on his door and told him there's a dispatch that I think you'll want to see right now. He read it and he says, "You're right. And the whole crew should hear this right now." And he woke everybody up and he said, "Now hear this. We have just received this dispatch. It's addressed to the officers and men of the Wasp. Who says that a wasp cannot sting twice?" Signed, Winston Churchill. What a cheer went up from the whole ship when they heard that. And then we were ordered immediately to go back to the States because we were going to the Pacific. We were the lead ship on the invasion of Guadalcanal. So anyhow, we got hit with 2 torpedoes at 3:10 in the afternoon. 4 days before that, I had moved to a room that I had been wanting, and the first torpedo hit right at the room that I had vacated. We were carrying about 100,000 gallons of 100-octane gasoline. And that blew. So you can imagine, it was as far as you could see on the water was burning. The hangar deck was, you never saw such flame. It was just a wall of fire. We knew we were going to have to abandon ship, and you know what? I hadn't even thought of a life jacket. And a fellow named McDowell, who was one of my radio men, came up to me and he handed me a life jacket. I'm telling you, it just wasn't my time to go yet because I was in the water for 6 hours. And I mean in the water with the surface burning all around me from the gasoline. And I was the last man picked up, just at dark. And I was badly burned. I had 3rd-degree burns on my face, my hands, my back. And I had swallowed some oil, and you know, I was a mess. And they threw me on a pile of dead bodies in the forward part of this motor whaleboat that picked me up. When they got to the ship, the officer of the deck called down to the coxswain and said, "What are those bodies up there?" And the coxswain said, "They're all dead." But just then, the oil that I had swallowed made me throw up. And they said, "He's not dead. Get him out of there." The only carrier left in the Pacific was Hornet. And if the Japanese had known how vulnerable we were at that point, the whole tide of the war would have changed. But fortunately, they didn't. When I was ordered back to Espiritu Santos, I was assigned to a Quonset hut. The front part was where I was, and the back part they kept for any visiting people. One of the very early visitors was Michener, who shared my Quonset hut. I have a picture with him in the Officers Club at Espiritu Santos, with me and him at the bar. He was a wonderful guy, and we did a lot of talking. The next part of my story is coming to Pearl Harbor to work for God, and that's Nimitz. He was God. He was unbelievable. Forrest Sherman had become a rear admiral and was the chief of staff for Admiral Nimitz, and he got me orders to Nimitz's staff. And he said, "Okay, we'll go in and see Admiral Nimitz now." He goes in next door. Next office was the Admiral Nimitz's. He knocked on the door. The Admiral says, "Come in." And I started to shake. Oh, I was so scared. He said, "Do you know why you've been assigned to this staff?" I said, "No, sir. Admiral Sherman said you would tell me." He says, "Well, I will. We're through on the defense. We're now going on the offense. We're going to now go to win this war. And Admiral Sherman thinks you can write the communications section of the operations plan. Can you?" Now, I hadn't the vaguest idea what the hell an operations plan looked like at that point. And I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "Admiral, I can do it." I was there for about a year, in which I wrote the operations plans, the communications section, for Kwajalein, Enewetak, Majuro, Saipan, Tinian, and Guam. And the whole war changed. You know, that's when we started on the offensive. I have been back to Pearl Harbor many times since then. I had a very, very close friend on the Arizona who did not survive. I've only been to the Arizona Memorial once. It was too hard. It was so traumatic. You know, they had that video of what happened to the Arizona when that first explosion went. I went ape. I had to leave. I just had to walk out of there. It's the same thing. Every time I hear Schubert's Unfinished Symphony now. Anytime I hear it. When that note, exactly when the first torpedo hit the ship, I start to shake. It's just a reaction. It's a remembrance. You remember those things. If you're a human being, you remember the things that were important to you. I was in there when patriotism was not a dirty word. It was a beautiful word. And in those days, let me tell you, when our ship was sunk, all the survivors just couldn't wait to get back. We wanted to get back into action, and we did.